the deck of all the decks I was building on the plane back. This is the one I was the most excited to mess around with. I've been Frog, Emperor, Agatha, Soul Cauldron is something that I've been trying to like mess around with for a while. For a lot of these brews have been like VV Cauldron shells, trying to play Emperor and Frog and VV and Griselbrand. It ends up being like too much. Too many 2-drops, not enough interaction, kind of slower than the Izzet VV Cauldron build, hard to play interaction. And the idea is that like this is kind of like a little bit of a mix of like Grixis Reanimator and like just like normal Dimir Frog, but trying to utilize Cauldron Griselbrand, Emperor of Bones Griselbrand, alongside like the normal like Unearth Oculus, Thought Scour Oculus stuff, which I think is pretty cool and interesting. The idea also is that you're going to draw a lot of cards off Griselbrand, and then sometimes you're going to either like give Griselbrand Frog's ability, and you're going to if you've like Emperor of Bones and you're going to kill them with that, or you're going to give Frog Griselbrand's ability and you're going to kill them, just draw a lot of cards, discard a lot of cards, like kind of it's basically a hatred, pay 1 life, deal 1 damage, or pay 7 life, deal 7 damage, I guess is maybe a better way to put that. But also what you want to do is just draw a lot of cards and hold up Subtlety and Force of Negation, and that's going to kind of lock your opponents out in a lot of situations. And then you get to go really, really crazy with Cauldron Emperor of Bones. Like I think that these two cards alongside each other are relatively underexplored. We have played, a few decks with them in the past, but like it's really cool. Like you could do the craziest thing you could do with this deck is give Emperor Frog's ability. If you give Emperor Frog's ability with Cauldron, then you can go exile a creature with this Frog ability, the exile 3 cards from your graveyard, and then you can discard a card to put a counter on the Emperor. So you could just rapid fire crap out a bunch of creatures from your graveyard. So you can just put more Oculuses and Subtleties and Frogs and Griselbrands into play, which can be really, really powerful. So like I've been really wanting to mess around like just specifically with these 3 Frog cards in the same deck, and it's cool too to like not be playing anything like Gorya's Vengeance. Like you have 8 ways to cheat Griselbrand into play. You don't necessarily need something like Gorya's Vengeance if you have 8 other ways to power these cards out. And if you have that, then you do get to play like if you don't have like these Goryos which are kind of dead, like Emperor is a card you can always play out, Cauldron is a card you can always play out and get some value with it. Cauldron, like just with an Emperor in play too, it can like start stealing stuff from your opponent's graveyard. So you don't even necessarily like if your opponent has graveyard hate for your graveyard, you can start stealing stuff from theirs, which is something I really like. You just kind of a versatile, more powerful game plan that's a little bit harder to disrupt. Is sort of the idea here. Let's see. The mana base isn't too crazy. I don't think we're going to talk about it very much. I have been wanting, when I was leaving, I was wanting to play a lot more Narsets. Or sorry, some Narsets and sideboards for the Quantum Riddler decks was something I wanted to do. So we're doing that here. I'm respecting Affinity more in my sideboard than I think I was pre-break here also. So we're playing 2 explosives, 2 recalls. Maybe that's not quite enough. From what I can tell, I've been trying to keep up a little bit. Just like I've been like looking at like what Fire Shoes and like Bamsing has been posting of like the results, and I've just kind of been like scrolling through top 8s when I've had some downtime. And from what I can tell, the meta hasn't changed a lot. I mean, there were no changes in the BNR. There wasn't a new set. So the meta doesn't seem to have changed that much. So maybe I haven't missed all that much. But I think for the first time in about 3 weeks, we can start playing some Magic. I apologize, but I feel very loved today. Today's awesome. Heads up, Emperor only returns creatures exiled by the combat trigger, not the Frog ability. Okay. I don't think that that's true. Okay, I did build this deck on the plane. Okay, so this says, whenever one or more counters are put on this creature, put a creature card exiled with this creature under the creature you control. So yeah, I don't think that that's true. I think that, let's talk about this a little bit. If you Cauldron a Frog onto the Emperor, it gains this ability to exile a creature with this creature. It is true. Okay, well maybe then this whole deck idea doesn't work. Built it on the plane. They're called linked abilities. Linked abilities? What the heck? This is... we have talked about this on stream before, too. We have talked about this on stream, and nobody told me that there were linked abilities then. Well, we'll see how it goes, maybe. I do have other decks, too. I don't think it's necessarily the most important that those two things happen. Cauldron and Emperor, at the very least, you can, like, put a counter on your... Do I want to just Surveil here? I think I don't hate that. Let's go and get the Scour out of the hand. Oh, I also noticed that there's like some changes on Magic Online. There's like a quick play button. I have no idea what that is. No combat. Why does this? I leave for 2 weeks and I don't. Where's my okay button? I don't combat. Declare attack. Okay, interesting. Magic Online literally changes none for like 4 years. I come back and they took away the okay button. They took away the okay button. They keep a card on top. I don't know. I'm gonna give my official reaction to the okay button leaving at some point today. But I don't know. I might end up not hating it. Well, I don't care if they chump block at all, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I don't care, I think. I'm just going to discard a push now instead of discarding the sewers. It's interesting that they didn't. We'll just hold up push and snare, I think. Watch out for the yield all instead of there being okay when there are multiple things in the stack. Yeah, I'm gonna try to play kind of slowly. Okay, yeah, also, what is this? Play now, quick play. This like weird green tab. What is that? Okay, so they probably have a K command if they're doing nothing. Not that we have an answer for it, so we could just go ahead and crack this, I think, and get a surveil off. I did have a great wedding honeymoon. It was honestly very needed, very refreshing. I think the last couple days of Japan, I was like, okay, I'm ready to go home. But for the most part, it was awesome. I definitely so a little bit of a recap. We can start the travel vlog while my opponent resolves K command. So we spent I think 6 days in parts of Japan. Yield to all, no response. Give me back the okay button. Yield to all? Wait. Oh wait, no, okay, no response is okay. No response is okay. Okay, sorry. Now I understand. It's fine. Okay, so we drew a Cauldron. So let's go ahead and see if we can surveil a Griselbrand into the yard before we actually no response is better. I take it back. My official reaction is maybe not out yet. Yeah, maybe. Okay, there was an okay. I saw an okay. No response. Best food I ate on the trip. So okay. So one thing is, I guess I didn't even. I'm an awful travel vlogger. It seems. I can't even get through where I stayed. So I did stay vegetarian the whole trip. I was kind of sick the first few days, and I decided to not try to get any sicker. So I decided to just stay vegetarian the whole trip, and something I wanted to do anyways. And I don't know. I'm not a foodie. Funny enough, maybe this isn't funny, but enough. So I have a friend who moved away from this area in like 2018, around 2018, to go pursue medical school. Now he's a doctor, and we went to his wedding. Oh, they milled a ballista. If they don't take the ballista, then I'm gonna get the Cauldron. Okay, so this buddy of mine, well, they didn't take the ballista. This buddy of mine left for medical school in like 2018. I don't get to see him very often. Like basically since then, I've seen him at his wedding this year, and he came to my wedding also this year. But then he was also in Japan. So we got to spend a little bit of time together, hanging out just in Japan. Funny enough, and he's definitely the kind of guy that, like, ooh, just I'm here to eat. But for me, for travel, I'm a lot more into seeing going out into nature, really like experiencing the culture, that kind of corny stuff. I guess maybe getting rid of the list brutes. I guess you would never get to use the adaptability. We're gonna go ahead and get in. It could have also been better to not tap the Cauldron now for the extra damage because we could have drew the Griselbrand, obviously. But yeah, he and his wife very much like they're there to eat. Not me so much. I'm just Esther's also very food focused on vacation. I even actually lost a couple pounds. Stash the 39. Okay, I did draw the Griselbrand, so we got pretty punished. That being said, I think I'm still going to go ahead and I'm going to clear these spawn tokens, so it's going to be harder for my opponent to Emrakul me. Wait, do we get Emrakuled anyways? 3, 4. I haven't played Magic in like weeks. Okay, well, let's go ahead and like let this mana go away. All right, so they have 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 7 types in the yard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 types. Okay, so yeah, they can just Emrakul me with a land. So I guess we get pretty punished, especially because they were actually just dead to the Griselbrand. Because I could just discard and then ping them 14 times. So oopsie doopsie. How hard was it to be vegetarian in Japan? Lunch was really easy to be vegetarian, and breakfast was really easy, and then dinner was a bit harder. But thankfully, okay, interesting. Just making a token. No response. Okay, I've come around on no response. So yeah, breakfast and lunch super easy to be vegetarian anywhere, and then for dinner you just have to like look at the menu ahead of time. And I just have a wonderful wife who helped me a lot, and I'm gonna respond to a text here. So they get a Haywire Mite. And then they cast a Springleaf Drum. Seems like they're activating the Haywire Mite. They are. So we could maybe discard the Griselbrand, and we could discard something else and ping the Construct. Seems kind of unnecessary. I say no response. I guess we kind of walked by some card shops. As far as the Magic scene in Japan goes, I'll say that I was really surprised to see that like most Magic stores had no Magic or most cards. I'm even just used to calling them Magic stores, but they weren't. Like most card shops in Japan did not have Magic the Gathering. Most card shops had the problem is they're just gonna Emrakul me. Maybe it's okay if I have a Force in my hand anyways. And then I Subtlety the Emrakul. Seems not amazing. Yeah, but I didn't want to like bore Esther going to like how are you? Yeah. Also, like I would feel a little bit like there's like an old YouTube video of like some Call of Duty streamer like wandering into GameStop and being like, "It's me." So I don't know. I always feel like I'm a little worried that it'll be like that. Although as long as I don't go, it's me. I guess it wouldn't be. But it's also like there wasn't like much Magic shopping I wanted to do either. Maybe maybe if there was like something really specific I was looking for, then it would have been better. Can't you just hardcast Emmy or Subtlety? Well, I can Subtlety the Emrakul, but then they get to control my turn. And then they can cast the Emrakul again. So certainly not a can't you just kind of situation, but it is a situation where we're not just dead. I guess we just discard this now. And then is there much reason for me to like exile anything from my yard? I guess if they do find Emperor of Bones or Cauldron off the top, they can kill me with the Griselbrand, but I think it's better for me to leave this in the yard so that my next draw can like kill them with the Griselbrand. Exile enough stuff from the grave so they can't exile Griselbrand. I think that's interesting, but I think there's not really a way for me to do that because I have 8. But that is a reason, because if I was stuck with 2 cards in the yard, they still could exile the Griselbrand just by going like discard exile. But I think that's interesting. Like even if I drew a land, they could just discard exile. Arcbound, I've decided to return to subscribing. Thank you. Desert Nomad with the 47, Gig Stash with the 39, Remy Ponjo with the 15 or Ponho. Did I miss anybody else? I think Logan with the 23. I didn't get you. I don't think I got Kath with the 29. Scribe with the 9 months. I hope you enjoyed Japan. I have some spice for Avatar. Yeah, I have some stuff. I'm gonna get to work. Gonna be on the grind here. Octopus with the 38. King with the 16. I think I got everybody. Yeah, definitely a cool board state. How are you? Your shops had such an amazing scene. All formats and paper are playing almost. I mean, that's definitely really, definitely very cool. Maybe next time. Yeah, I sorry, coughing a little bit. Am I planning to do an Avatar Modern set review? Yes. I know it's a little late, but I am still planning to do the YouTube video. I would really like to have it out by Sunday. I'd really like to have it out by Sunday. It seems like that could be doable too. Hitting them for 7 this turn could be kind of important. And alternatively, if I draw Oculus off this frog, I'll have really regretted cycling this. I do also, I think, have 4 Oculuses left in the deck still. Yeah, I think I have all 4. So I'm going to go ahead and attack before cycling the Unearth. How do you feel revisiting Aswa Monument? Felt good playing with the boys lately. We actually played that right before we left. We played a Rottenmouth Viper build that I think I like that build. There's definitely some... There's definitely a good amount, I think, to like with it. Okay, so I have drawn the Oculus. But also I could have discarded for the extra damage still, which is funny. Okay, so they're gonna get to Emrakul me. So if we can hit like a frog or an Oculus here, we may have a chance. Okay. Any prelim opinions on Badgermole Cub? I think that card's really exciting. Yeah, I haven't like started brewing with it, and I'll be able to like really gather my ideas when I make the video. Usually, like that's another reason why I really like to make the video, is that like sitting down, I get to talk it out. I get to talk my ideas out, which helps me formulate more ideas. You know. Thank you, Jab with a 31 and Jabbins with a 45. No response. Cub seemed insane considered 9 mana turn 3 multiple times for cookies. Yeah, the card definitely seems really hype. Okay. I guess since they're about to Emrakul me again, we should exile. Yeah, I like the Owl, Wang Shitan. I think that card's good too. Definitely on my list. It's cool that there's like an extra cleansing wildfire. I think 8 wildfire decks will be fun. So I do think Avatar will be a good standard set for Modern. Thank you, lol, bro. So I draw a land, which isn't the worst when we get Emrakul. They play the land. No surveil lands for them to try to screw me by putting a bad card on top. Am I going to try to build Meteor Sword Control? I don't remember what the Meteor Sword does. Maybe I've overlooked it. Again, I haven't done the video yet. I also like the... one card that might be a sleeper is that 4 mana artifact. It's like, if you've sacked a permanent this turn, right, you get a copy of it. It's a 4 mana 4/4 flying vehicle. It's like the Fire Lord warships or whatever. It crews 1, and you get to copy it on your end step if you sacked a permanent. So you get 2 of them the turn it comes down. Maybe if you have a Bowmaster, you could crew both on defense. So it's 8 power on defense, and then your next turn you would get 2 more, and then you get 4 more. I don't know. Is that card good? I don't know. Maybe it's not. Okay, so they block the Oculus. So they've got an Emrakul in play. I'm at 13. If I send with everything here, they block, they take 6, and then I die on the backswing. Seems like I should pass. Sounds like a besieged target. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. It's interesting. Oh yeah, they crack the fetch so we don't die to the Griselbrand. That's interesting. Because they play a blade. They've got 2 cards in their hand. They equip the blade to Emrakul. Scrappy. Yeah, the no attacks. It's been a crazy first game back, huh? Alright, so my Fatal Push doesn't do much besides give me the ability to deal them 6 damage instead of 5. Thank you, Ganked. Well, good to be back. We're gonna do Monk Gyatso Heir Apparent combo. Is it good? I guess I don't know. I don't remember what Monk Gyatso does, and I certainly am not aware of combos with Heir Apparent. Wait, or they have 2 cards left. I mean, yeah, them having a K command is gonna be close to lights out. Jumpstart cards. Oh, so it's just not legal in Modern. Okay, good. So they did put 2 cards in the bottom. Probably sack this. Definitely seems like my plan is to like draw an Emperor of Bones after we chump with the Subtlety. I have 3 Emperors left. No record tracker. I guess I don't know if it's broken. I know that there was like a lot of Magic Online updates yesterday. No attacks is amazing for me. So even if I chump attack with the Subtlety, which doesn't seem like a great idea, I still can't quite cast the Oculus. Weird that every mode on K Command targets took the Fatal Push cutting away. Yeah, I know. It's just everything. K Command is just one of these Modern Horizons cards where everything about it is as pushed as it possibly could be. Well, it seems like my opponent just waited way too long. Let's draw with the Subtlety. Alright, so I've got 7 more cards. So I could throw a Griselbrand also at my opponent here. I guess maybe we shouldn't have played that. Seems like we have a win though. Although I guess no, I have to do this for the win. Doesn't seem like they're very likely to have much. This is our first game back. This is our very first game, not our first match. Wild first game back. Alright, so I think I'm going to cut all the Force of Negation. Subtlety's not the worst against the Fleshrakers and the Brood Scales. Probably don't want to have 3. I do think I want the 4th Fatal Push. I think the first Explosives is probably something that would be fine to have. I don't know if I necessarily want the second. Maybe Subtlety, just kind of not necessary. I think I kind of want 1. We could trim an Unearth. Thank you, GAZILLION. Feels very good to be back. I know I've got a lot of catching up to do. It was a good time to take a break also with like the format. Overall, it doesn't seem to be changing very much, and we got a pretty exciting set coming out soon. I was definitely like a little, like to some extent worried that there would be like a crazy BNR and I would just miss it. And I'd be like stuck in Japan with my fingers on the glass, dying to come home so I could play with like Deathrite Shaman or something, like something crazy. I thought for sure, or not for sure. I was worried something like that would happen, and I'd be stuck, unable to play. And so I was like, I even like I set an alarm for the BNR. It was like 2 a.m. I just went back to sleep, but nothing happened. Snares are pretty good on the draw against like the Rumble Broodscale deck. 5 lands, 2 snares, I think is going to be a mulligan, though. Alright, Sand's definitely way better. I guess I'll just put back the Unearth, although the Unearth does look pretty solid in this hand. It was like 2 a.m. and I'm just staring at my phone, getting hyped, and then nothing happens. Alright, we're definitely going to use our mana this turn, so we'll just play the Watery Grave. Same with the 65. I did have a great time. Thank you for 30 months, Mr. Lifeguard. Yeah, I think I want to save this for a Glaring Fleshraker potentially. Maybe even just a Construct token. I felt it in my bones. Checked my page. Cold. Hell, I am. Although I did announce this. This was the day I was going to be back. Maybe that's why you felt it in your bones. Oh, Well, let's see if they have a payoff. Yeah, they had to have Eldrazi Temple plus the Brood Scale to go off here, right? But they do also have to have the payoff, so we'll see if they have it. Otherwise, we go to a fast game 3 here. MTS with the 13, CK with the 55. Hope you all are doing well. Okay, so they had nothing, and they've passed. Let's fly the frog first. Oh, sorry. I did mean to fly the frog. Fly the frog. I guess if they just block like this, then we can fatal push before they. Oh no, sorry. This doesn't make any sense either because they just get to sack or replace. Well, okay. Then they messed up. They could have sacked to replace the spawn. But yeah, I did mean to not do it that way. Okay. Well, let's play out the Cauldron. I think. Gotta wait for them to jump, then push. No, they think they just sack and then they get the spawn back. So, but again, like I meant to fly the frog. That was the play. Was to fly the frog, and I just clicked. I have not played Magic in like 2 weeks. My longest. This is the longest I've gone without playing Magic since I was 18, I think. You've got a Dismember as one of the last two. Okay. Oh, Nature's Claim. All right. No response. That's better for me than Dismember. I guess let's just go and attack first, but there's a pretty good chance I just want 2 explosives on one. Maybe explosive 1 is better post like Saga Urza Saga. But it would be nice to not get combo killed randomly. Although drawing this, I could just hit a Griselbrand, so I did not mill over a Griselbrand. So I guess we'll play a second frog. And hope they don't top deck the 3rd Brood Scale. How does Frog Exile Activate work with Emperor Bones? Can you bring back cards for giving the Emperor abilities flying? So apparently the answer is no. I was under the impression the answer was yes, which is a big part of the reason why I started to build this deck on the plane. But apparently the answer is no. I feel like you could make a good argument for either of these two. You probably can't make a great argument for taking the Scour. Yeah, but the fact that it's a linked ability, I wonder if anyone could give another example of a linked ability like that in like a relevant sense, where there's like a rules interaction that matters for it. Because I don't know that I've ever even heard of something like this mattering. How long was the flight? The one yesterday, it was like 9 hours from Tokyo to Seattle, and then it was like 4 hours from Seattle to Dallas, with like a 3-hour layover in Seattle, and also like an hour, 20 hour 30 of like trains to get to the airport. So definitely a long day and a half of travel. All right, so let's see if we find Griselbrand. We do find Griselbrand. So do we just win? I think we just win. We get to draw 14, and we can discard 16. We know the last card is Beseiju. All right, very long first match. Kind of a do-nothing hand. But we have a Surveil. We have only one Surveil. What a mulligan. And seems better. Right, I think I'm going to keep this and put back the Watery Grave. I guess maybe I could lead on the Delta, because if they went Amulet of Vigor, I would go Force, and then I'd want to Surveil. And maybe I would just want to keep the Consign, sort of consider for Force anyways and Surveil anyways. Are we anytime soon the video from Avatar Modern Cards? I would like to have it up by Sunday. I've been honeymooning in Japan, and I just got back last night, so I have not done any work for the Avatar stuff, but my goal today is to, after lunch and after today's stream, start working on the PowerPoint and start working on decks for Avatar. All right, so let's go play Emperor this turn. Yogi with 33 months, welcome back. Wedding was great. Honeymoon was great. Feeling very refreshed. It's honestly really annoying. I'm just gonna force this. My jet lag is hell? Not really. I was really jet lagged there. I was like pretty sick like the first 2 days between like jet lag and congestion. I was really going through it like the first 2 days. But I went to sleep at like my normal time last night, and I woke up at my normal time, so I'm feeling okay. So they also didn't have a second land. I'm struggling to understand what makes Badgermole Cub more exciting than Keenan. Can someone help me? Yeah, the big thing about Badgermole Cub compared to Keenan is that it makes its own mana generator by itself. Oh, that's a great draw. That's the big difference. Is it makes its own mana generator. Oh, I hit a Griselbrand. So do I want a Cauldron? I think I'd rather Cauldron than Griselbrand, yeah. I guess this trigger is never getting to do anything. Is going to 2 like just really unnecessarily risky? Yeah, probably. Mostly just want to find Force or Subtlety. Or maybe like get to Unearth something. Okay, there's a Force. Yeah, getting multiple is also a big deal. That's true. Yeah, I'm not sure what Esther's going to do with her username. I don't know if she's put a lot of thought into it yet. Alright, so they finally hit their second land. If we can steal game 1 from Affinity and just have like 4 solid sideboard cards, obviously we should be feeling pretty good about that. Just going to get and force this. And so they're tapped out, so not like really at risk of dying to Galvanic Blast. So we can just, I think, draw 7 and then go from there. But ideally we could Cauldron the frog ability, or a frog ability here. Although we don't find a frog. No frogs in the top 34. Let's see if the Consider can find us one. Although a Force of Negation is obviously really nice. Can I say no to Force of Negation? It does like really stink that I just don't have any. I guess I can Cauldron the. Oh, I can Cauldron for an Oculus next turn for lethal. So I guess we'll just keep this on top. Cast an Oculus. Very odd game 1 against Affinity here. Do you have ways to gain back life? Yeah, I would throw. I just throw a Griselbrand with the Emperor. Besides that, no, though. Was it a Moldify from our opponent? It was a keep on 7. Yeah, so probably just a mistake. Don't want to be too hard on them. I guess actually let me go ahead and discard 2 Oculi. I think they're probably just going to be better in the yard at this point. Although we want this Griselbrand in the yard. So we have lethal next turn, we have force up. Although I guess I should have kept 1 more blue card because I don't have force and subtlety up now. Probably okay. Yeah, I am going to do a PowerPoint video for Avatar. I got back from the plane last night. I'd really like to have it up by Sunday. Because I would like to stream on today, tomorrow, and Saturday. But it's like I guess it's going to kind of depend on how much progress I make on the video. Until then, as far as determining if I have the time for that, I think I could probably swing it. Here's Psychic Frog. I just have lethal in the air, but I guess I do have a blocker. Thinking about this probably too much here. Yeah, our Force of Negation on the Spell Bomb ended up being a pretty big deal. So we won game 1 against Affinity, which is always a big deal when you got sideboard cards. I like the disputes against them also. I'm kind of thinking that the pitch cards are mostly bad, although like Force of Negation, like you saw on Manufacturing can be good, Subtlety on Kappa Cannoneer can be good, although we have Dispute and Recall. That's to help us a little bit against Kappa. So these are the cards I also don't really like Fatal Push against them very much. I think like I have like 2 Fatal Push. We also have Snare for the weapons. 2 snares is maybe a good number. Maybe we want to play like 1 snare, 1 force or something, or 2 snares, 1 force. 2 snares, 1 force. I think maybe having 2 force, 2 subtlety, also just for like the Griselbrand draw turns is going to be good. And if that's the case, then I want 2 force for my Griselbrand turns, and I should probably go down a snare. I think that makes some sense. I think Narset is also probably pretty solid against them, but I think we should keep that maybe on the play. Actually, let's just go ahead and bring it in, and let's cut a Cauldron, because I think they may like needle Cauldron kind of often. And then this, like, not only does this stop their draw stuff, but it also just digs us for explosives and recall. So I think that is like going to be enough for me to want it even on the draw here. Snare has 2 total targets for them. Wait, so Affinity is just locked in at 2 weapons manufacturing? Because when I left, like, there was a lot of people playing 4 still. But like in the last like 2.5, 3 weeks, people are just locked in at 2. Because I would just usually have the attitude that we're not sure how many they have. Let's keep this. I think I've got hopefully the explosives to stop a fast Kappa Cannoneer, so I'll just keep the Oculus. The maybe subtlety is still better. As opponent, I definitely needle Frog over Cauldron. Do you want to elaborate on that? Because like the Frog like still just is in play doing stuff, and then the Cauldron is just completely shut down by the needle, you know? It's kind of splitting between play 4 plus Ravager and E, or play 1, 2 and Closet. Okay, cool, interesting. Well, we might be getting Rebuked. I think I'm going to be okay trading Rebuke for Frog. They have Galvanic Blast. Don't know what we're going to do, but we'll see. Thank you, Greenwire, for the 32. Wedding was perfect. It was great. Yeah, totally okay with that also. Well, glad we brought in or left in a couple forces. Definitely gonna Fetch my island here. Although maybe I would have wanted to surveil. Probably not. Against regular Dimir, at least Kneeling Frog stops it from growing and flying, and it doesn't do anything after that. Can't attack into most boards. Well, I think it can attack into most boards game one, but in sideboard games, like if I have like a recall or an explosives, like the frog is still like really valuable, I would think. I'll have to ask, are we going to have a gift of an avatar PowerPoint? Yes, I'm planning on it. I'm hoping to have it out by Sunday. Maybe I just really power through and get it done by a Saturday, or you know, I'll get it done as soon as I can. But yes, I'm planning on making it. It's also just because like not only do I want y'all to have the content or whatever, like I also need to make it for my own like process. It's really important that I make the PowerPoint so that I can form my own opinions on the cards. It's like, okay, drawing the second frog will definitely explosives on one. I don't think we need to pop the explosives right now though. It's kind of interesting. We could attack and they just don't have a good block. And we could maybe even just play a second frog this turn. I don't know that we need to pop the explosives now. And then that also kind of stops them from playing ones next turn. Yeah, but like I'd like making the PowerPoint is a big part of me forming my own opinions, which I just have not done yet. Did you hear about the Power Cube on Arena? I did, yeah. I think that was happening when I was like around the time when I was leaving, but I've been talking a little bit. I might be playing it at the end of this year for charity, and I might not. I'm not sure yet. Okay, explosives on 2. I can't do anything about that. Do they have the land? They don't have the land at the moment. So I guess let's just go ahead and Fatal Push the construct. Well, let's not say no to this. I could maybe if they play a lot of zeros, I could bounce my own explosives and replay it on 0. I don't know, maybe I want to recall them now. Recalling them now is really, really bad if they draw a land. It's like I'm losing a lot of value. Arena QBV is way too often to play more than once. Yeah, so I was curious about that. You can't go infinite. Like what record do you need to go infinite? Is that even a thing? Any chance you close out the stream with some Synergy Cube? Probably not. I've got like a lot of modern decks that I want to play, and I also have like, if I didn't have the Avatar PowerPoint to make, then maybe. But some streamers we really got to work. You know, we got shit to do. Like I got PowerPoints to make. I got modern decks to brew. I would love to be a limited streamer. You know, maybe one day I will be. I don't know. But like being a limited streamer seems really nice. You get to wake up in the morning. You get to stream limited for like 6 hours, and then you get to go about your day. But for me, I have like so much prep. I have so much prep I need to do. I usually just don't have time. They say some of the BNR. Sorry, I did. Maybe I need take a cough drop. I talked a little bit about it. I think that the no changes was fine. Oh, I could have bounced my own explosives and played it on 0 for their explosives last turn. No, wait. Yeah, I could have done that. Could have been interesting. I think no changes was fine. I said that, you know, the nature of the scheduled BNRs always makes me more interested in Wizards having a more proactive approach to. Okay, let's not play this into the explosives, I guess. I'm always interested in a more proactive approach to the ban list than what we've been just like no changes for 9 months, because you just don't have the windows. But I think, you know, in general, Modern is good at the moment. In general, like I think if things are safe, it's probably good to not make a lot of changes, even if there are changes I think that could improve the format. You know, one good example of this too, of no changes for a good format, or maybe not a good format, but like with Standard, they did a really proactive change of the ban list, right? Like last time, they banned like 6 cards. Everybody was so hyped, and then it was like it was the worst Standard format of all time, or like pretty close to like the worst Standard format of all time. Ooh, that's a fun one. So it's like I think with that just happening, like Wizards took a way more proactive approach to the ban list in Standard, worst Standard format of all time, kind of. I think that I think it makes a lot of sense for them to just not take a more to take a more passive approach here. Narset, it's a great draw. So I do think I kind of want to shuffle the Griselbrand back in. So let me shuffle and surveil here. Then can I say no to a consider? I think I could. Yeah, I'll just draw the consider next turn. I think Cutter was worse than VV personally. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't playing, so maybe parts of this is wrong, but a lot of people said it was the worst Standard ever, and at the very least, like their really proactive approach to Standard very much backfired. Is like the main the main point I wanted to make there. Although I will say, if they just didn't have scheduled BNRs, like it would have been way better. Like you know, the biggest problem is still the scheduled BNRs with every set release. That's a big problem. Although I did see, I saw Emma post that there's going to be more ban windows next year, or that they said something about like either increasing the ban windows or they're going to. Interesting fan it was. They're going to like maybe do some like as needed too. So I need to like see like what the announcement was. Make sure I'm understanding that. But if that's the case, then I'll have a lot less to complain about. Be interesting to see which one they needle here. I feel like they probably should needle the Cauldron. They're going to do roughly every 30, 40 days. Okay, honestly, I don't really have almost any problems with that. I think that that's pretty close to as needed. I think it would be really, really nitpicky for me to even like call that much of a difference between as needed. To like basically triple or 2.5 times the ban windows. I think it's a good change. Yeah, and also like maybe another part of this factor too. And like one issue with the like as needed BNRs is don't need another frog here. So I'm just gonna keep throwing frogs at my opponent. Like one issue with the as needed BNRs is that or with the current system is that because the BNRs are like quarterly, people really want change to happen because things get stale more often. And so because there are fewer windows, people really want things to happen on these windows, and so people go so crazy, and I'm no exception to this. But if they're just more windows, people like that tension gets removed. So I think it's a really good change. Really good change. Okay, so let's go ahead and then kill the needle minus the Narset. Is there only one island left? Yes. So I guess we don't have push up. Dingo's saying you can play around Wan Tong by fetching on main phase. Well, if it's your turn too, you fetch on your main phase. Okay, so they do get to exile my frogs. I guess I can't even quite kill this. I think I want to save this for a revolt instead of a cracking now just to like thin. Okay, so I didn't Cauldron the frog's ability earlier. Yeah, seems like all I can really do is kill the Ashjuk here. So we are, I guess, going to be one land short of hardcasting this Griselbrand. We milled the other Watery Grave. Yeah, the thing is, I just wanted to leave more frogs in the yard. I guess that didn't really make that much sense, but I wanted to leave more frogs in the yard to like keep throwing them with the Emperor. But I should have called it the first one. Wang Shitong, stop giving blue threats better than green is kill me. Yeah, you know, I've been saying this a lot too. Like there are just like no good, like generically good creatures in green. There's like the blue creatures in modern are the biggest small creatures. It's like maybe white too, but like green just has no big creatures. Every other color just has bigger and better cheap creatures than green. Green has I don't know if it's ever really had the identity of good cheap creatures necessarily, although I think people like kind of like to think of it as having that, and I would like for it to have better cheap creatures. I think that would be better for the game or whatever. Interesting that they played out the opal here. Wait, okay, I just totally miscounted. I can't hardcast the Griselbrand. So I should have done this main phase 1 because if they have a counterspell which they are representing, then I would have wanted to main phase 1 it so I could put it into play. I guess there wasn't the extra creature to Emperor anyways. Great. Okay, your turn. Yeah, green had Tarmogoyf for the longest time, but now like Nethergoyf is like a much better Goyf. You know, I don't know. I think people associate creatures with green and assume it should have good cheap threats, good cheap green creatures enable green payoffs. Yeah, I guess I think that's definitely the way it's been in Magic and in Modern for a long time, is that the cheap cards enable the big stuff, and it's more of like a combo-y. They could have Emery, so I'm going to exile the Spellbomb. It's more of a combo. Green has always been like a real combo color in Magic. It's more of a combo color than anything else. But despite that being how it is, that is definitely how it is. I think it would be better if green had better creatures. And at the very least, like the fact that they keep giving blue the biggest creatures, I don't think that really has ever made a lot of sense to me. I have 0 frogs left in my deck, but I think I'll still draw 7. So I could throw an Emperor with Emperor and adapt for lethal. It seems fine. Doesn't seem like they probably have anything. Thank you, Draven. Good to be back. Really good to be back. It's more like the most efficient way to win Magic has never been by playing dudes and attacking for lethal and green. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I do. Well, but it's even more than that. It's like the creatures that are green that you could play for that strategy are just not that effective. Like in Modern, you have like Territorial Kavu, which is green red. I think that might be the end of the list of like cheap playable green creatures. I can't think of a single other one that is even green at all besides Kavu. Maybe there's 1 or 2 I'm forgetting though. Okay, let's keep this. I think I'm gonna put back the second frog and hope my Surveil gets me places I'm trying to go. Nacatl, like Zoo doesn't play Nacatl anymore, really. Sometimes they play Nacatl. I think you could argue. Very, very fringe. Yeah, Cosmoglyph is kind of fringe. Endurance I wouldn't describe as a creature that's like mostly focused on attacking and blocking. It's like I think it's like mostly graveyard interaction that like has the luxury of also being like reasonably sized, but it is also like a lot smaller than 1 and 2 mana value creatures a lot of the time. Yeah, Hexdrinker's not really playable anymore. So I don't know. Yeah, just hard. Yeah, this deck's main plan seems to be hard casting Emrakul. Endurance is a shockingly good blocker. I think that this was true pre-MH3. I think it is kind of a reasonable blocker now. Like, it bounces off Guide of Souls most of the time now. It doesn't block the Ajani token very well. It doesn't block Ajani if they don't play around it. It doesn't block Frog very well. It doesn't block Kavu. It doesn't block Scion of Draco. It's like a 3 mana answer to... Okay, this is interesting. It's like a 3 mana answer to Slickshot Show Off, which isn't very efficient. So like I think that the whole it's a good blocker thing, I do think it was true at one point. I don't think it's really true anymore. Um, I guess if I surveil Griselbrand in the yard, I'll probably play the Cauldron. Yeah, but I think pre MH3 like the endurance being like it's a good size, brother. I think that was true. I don't think it's really very true anymore. Thank you, Gavin. Japan Japan was really cool. I haven't really done much. I guess we'll put the Oculus in the yard because I have second Unearth. But maybe that's overthinking it, and I could just flip an Oculus, and maybe we're just super ahead. Yeah, Japan was really cool. I found that I'm an awful travel vlogger. Every time I start talking about it, I get immediately sidetracked by magic. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna cut the forces for push and explosives. I think we can leave it in the snares for Felly. I don't think disputes. I guess dispute hitting. They're playing image too, so they have image, Mockingbird, Riddler. I guess the disputes are probably pretty good. Maybe we could cut the. I'm gonna get a cough drop or something in a second. But we could maybe cut the Unearth. So they were pretty good that game. I think maybe trimming a Cauldron against some of their hate could make some sense. We could trim like a Consider. But Japan was really cool. We went to Tokyo, Kyoto, Nara, Osaka, the lake around Mount Fuji, and not Kamakura. We went to Kamakura and then we went a town over to go to the Sea Candle, which was really I really liked that leg of the trip too. But it was great. I definitely enjoyed like the more naturey areas than the cityscape of Tokyo. Yeah, I'm gonna go get the cough drop real quick. Let me raise the standing desk too. It was a lot of fun. Okay, on the draw against a Ragavan. I'm just gonna go and play the Watery Grave tapped for my life total with the Griselbrand stuff coming up instead of surveilling. Yeah, Esther really liked the deer. I like the deer too. Esther didn't realize the deer were just like wandering around the city the whole time, which is funny. Or she didn't realize that was what was going to be happening. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, attacking with everything. Probably would have blocked the Ragavan because they seem choked on mana. My opponent has wisely played 3/1 drops. Yeah, I think we're gonna block the Ragavan. Yeah, coming home to the dogs is always the best feeling ever. Monkey with the 25 months. Thank you. Welcome back. All right, so they have no plays. They do get an energy here. So I could Cauldron the Griselbrand, and I could go down to 7. I think that is what I want to do here. So I could hit my land drop and like try to find a fatal push also. It is maybe kind of risky to go down so low. I don't find a fatal push either. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and play explosives on one rather than try to hold up dispute. Discard 1 Oculus, 2 Oculus, probably just 3 Oculus, and try to be alive. Your turn. Hopefully they don't immediately play a land. Should be in pretty good shape still. Thank you, Shrimpy. And Monkey Butler's at 25. So we're gonna block whatever they jump, assuming that they do attack. But if they jump a cat, it doesn't matter that much, right? Since they we have the explosives on 1. New card idea, Baragorth but green. Yeah, honestly, like, why isn't Baragorth green? I guess I think I'm gonna discard a Scour and leave an Oculus in the yard. Maybe I could discard a Frog too. Exile that instead. Although Cauldroning the Frog is probably be better. So let's exile a Delta and Oculus and a Scour. Thank you, Blobber. Yeah, I'll post some more photos and videos and stuff. At least from the wedding. We haven't got like the professional stuff back yet, and there's a lot more photos from Japan too. I might do a big dump. So that's a good pickup. It does seem like Emperor of Bones throwing the Griselbrand at my opponent and crack the explosives is what I want to do. So I can go play Emperor, exile the... I guess maybe I'm opening myself up to Bolt for no reason. Not that Bolt is very likely to occur. Let me discard the Frog. Just to have that activate ability on my stuff here. And then go to combat, exile the Griselbrand. And then I'm going to use the Cauldron to get the Griselbrand in play this turn. See if they have like a random surgical extraction, I guess. Since Zoo is basically just running on the back of Doorkeeper Throw right now, maybe it's time to revisit Mardu 8 Titan. Maybe I'm not so sure what's going on these days. Okay, so even if I adapted response, I could just Cauldron Frog in response, right? Yeah, so let's go Cauldron Frog. Let's do this. Cauldron the Frog. Well, the thing is they have enough energy if I adapt. They just get to do this. And if also I can't crack the explosives. But if I Cauldron Frog... So no response to that. Let's let that happen. Then I could just go... Discard an Emperor of Bones. Discard an Oculus probably. No, I just still get to sack the explosives is the big thing here. In addition to Griselbranding them. You'd have 5 toughness. Oh, we have 5 toughness with the Cauldron, yes, and then I also get to they've conceded. Okay, so I have not played Magic in almost 3 weeks. This is the longest time since I was 18 that I have not played Magic, but we have not lost a game today. Not a hand that seems like it does a lot, but we do have a Surveil. I'm going to go ahead and mulligan. Can I keep this one? Let's probably put back the Scour. What doesn't work about Frog Emperor? So I thought that if you Cauldron Frog's ability onto Emperor, you could go like discard a creature, exile to Frog, discard another card, bring that card back. And it's been something I've been wanting to do for a long time. It's kind of why I built this deck. Or like I had a lot of shells that were trying to do that, and I could never really find a good shell for it. But apparently because this is a linked ability, which does not make... I still don't... I still like to see another example of like a linked ability being relevant or whatever. Anyways, because it's a linked ability, like all of this together... Like, you have to have... I still don't understand it. Like, I don't even know... Why is it a linked ability? Because this ability is up here, broken up by adapt, and then it just says when a card is exiled with this creature. It doesn't say exiled with, like, the other ability, you know? I don't really understand why it's a linked ability. Linked abilities are relevant all the time? Yeah, could I haven't seen another example. Give me another... an example in gameplay where linked abilities are relevant and specifically a card set has like text where you're doing the text. You know, we've exiled a card with a card and we're putting a counter on it. Another example of where the text doesn't do what it says it does because of linked abilities is what I've been asking for. Bomat Courier, yeah, so what happens, so the Bomat Courier exiled with Like if you also Cauldron Frog on the Bomat Courier, it wouldn't work. Brood Scale? Yeah, what's the linked ability in Brood Scale? Forcing this seems okay. You have to exile with the beginning of combat trigger and not the frog fly. Yes. Which honestly, like, still kind of fine, right? You get to still get one thing a turn. There isn't a way to know it's a linked ability on the card itself, just something that happens in the background, because otherwise a lot of things would break. And I'm just trying to learn, you know. I don't know if I sound like I'm complaining, but I just want to know other examples if there's other gaps in my knowledge, you know. All right, so let's go ahead and throw a frog at them here, I think. Get the Emperor up to 4 power, so if they have Flage is bad. Welcome back, Valk. There is a way to know what abilities are linked. The answer is all of them. Okay, that's a great to know. Getting consigned, I guess. Honestly, pretty fine. Yeah. Still, like, you're just making Flage bad is nice. Although this is gonna make it harder for me to Oculus, I guess. You do sound like you're complaining. Yeah, I know sometimes when I'm just genuinely trying to understand something, I know that my tone sounds like I'm like whining about it, and I don't know what to do about that. But I am just trying to understand. There's a YouTube short.
So if I were to counter the enter the battlefield trigger from Massacre Girl, I would counter the entire effect. And also, people see 2 separate lines of text. So countering Battle Cry won't also counter this ability because they're 2 separate effects. Because those 2 abilities are separate, that means with Mimeoplasm, the reared one, if I were to exile Scavenging Ooze out of my graveyard, then use the second ability to make Mimeoplasm a copy of Scavenging Ooze, to then activate Scavenging Ooze's ability to exile creatures out of my opponent's graveyard, those were cards that were exiled with it, right? Nope. You see, just because 2 abilities are separate doesn't mean that they can't be linked in any way. If an object has 2 abilities printed on it and one of those abilities refers to the other in some way, those 2 abilities are linked to each other. And that second ability can only refer to things that happened from the first ability. Let me elaborate. In the case with Mimeoplasm, the revered one,
I guess it's like it almost exclusively comes up with like this exiled with text. Maybe there's some other examples. Okay, that's almost like 2 perfect hits here. Griselbrand and Oculus, wow. Yeah, I guess I would wonder if it would ever come up with anything besides exiled with, you know. Oh, you know what? Maybe no, I was thinking of a different example. Okay, so they play it to Fairy, which is interesting. Bounces the Oculus, which, you know, they're definitely doing a lot of things like weirdly slow. Like they go Riddler, think, Ephemerate, which is good to note when you play against a player like this. It's just really important you know that they're playing like this, so you don't overthink their like small pauses and stuff. All right, so this one is this one. We're going to target the Ephemerate there, and then target the Griselbrand. There are some situations where they didn't have the linked abilities to give me a break. That's cool. It is very fun to learn stuff like this. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and send the Manifest token and the Emperor at the Teferi. I don't think they're very likely to block the Manifest token. I'm gonna send the Griselbrand at our opponent here. I want the Teferi to die so that I can try to draw into subtleties and forces and stuff. What do you think of the new motive buttons? I'm getting used to them. Very funny. I just leave for 2.5 weeks and then everything's different. But I'm trying to form an opinion. I'm not very passionate about it, I think, at the moment. Okay, so I could unearth another Emperor Bones maybe. Let's go ahead and see if we draw any of my 6-0 mana interactive cards. We don't draw any of them. Well, I guess I will unearth an Emperor. Then we can discard a Griselbrand. I'm going to discard 7 cards here. I think 2 Griselbrands. Going to keep a Strand, so that's 4 cards discarded. Probably want to keep both Oculi. So maybe I'll just discard the cantrips. I think I feel very unlikely to want to cast any of these very badly since I have so much action. Also with this flip up here. Dead the Bolt. Yeah. I kind of thought I might draw a Subtlety or Force. Dead the Bolt, dead the Flage. Seems like they have it. Bummer. Well, down a game. So we're on the play. The pushes mostly just kill like the Ragavans, right? I want the Narset. I want the Disputes. Our undefeated game streak has come to an end. I think I'll play 1 Fatal Push on the play. Then maybe like 3 on the draw. Maybe 2 on the draw. Maybe 2 on the play, 3 on the draw. Something like that. Force is like mostly good for Teferi. I think we could probably trim 1. Since we also have the Subtleties. Do you think the Subtleties are pretty good? Yeah, let's try this. I think you seize with the 54. Definitely a nice honeymoon vacation. It was kind of perfect. Is Snare good? I guess it just hits their Felias. Sorry, I don't know why I forgot about Felia completely, but we at least hit the snares for them. Right, gonna mulligan triple Cauldron. They do play Felia, right? It's been a little bit. I guess I'm gonna put back the Scours because I might want to unearth the Emperor and throw Griselbrand on them on turn 3, or at least have that option. I'm gonna do the Avatar video. I just don't know when it's gonna be out. As soon as possible. Hopefully by Sunday. Gonna start working on it today. Okay, we'll put that in the graveyard for unearth value. Hopefully they don't counter the frog, although I guess we could just unearth the frog next turn maybe. Yeah, I guess we do have a potential turn 3 kill, huh? For your Avatar video, I found a common that could make the video. Curious farm animals. I don't think that was on my list from the cards I went over. Don't know if it's in the bot yet. Yeah, Badger Mole Cub, I think it was my number 1 going in, but I think that might change after some deliberation. I do think it looks excuse me, interesting. I was wanting to Modern Challenge tomorrow. I don't know if I can do early access stuff between rounds. Because I think you can't have the early access client and the regular client installed, but if I can't have both, I'll be pretty likely to try to do both. It's honestly pretty tough for them to stop me here, right? Try some deck focus on Volatile Stormdrake. I haven't played a lot with Volatile Stormdrake. I mostly evaluate the card as being bad. And from the games I have seen of other people trying the Stormdrake, I don't exactly feel proven wrong on that assessment. So maybe they have a Consign. Do we think that they have a Consign? Do we think that that's what this pause is? I think that that's what I'm supposed to read it as, and they're going to try to consign me after I adapt. So I think I'm just going to not attack here, which is maybe too greedy, but I think I'm going to get rewarded for this. I think Phoenix Fleet Airship I think could be really good. It's like the idea of like just on the turn it comes down, if you have like an Orcish Bowmaster or 2/1 power creatures, which isn't the easiest thing ever, but Bowmaster specifically seems really good. It is just immediately 8 power flying in the air to block, and then it's gonna double every single turn. Really reliably in Modern, and I don't know, that does seem like it could be pretty solid. It's like pretty slow against the combo decks, and like specifically 4/4 flyers are really bad against Quantum Riddler. So I don't know. It could be great, and it could be also not. So we'll definitely try it. EOT Factor Fiction, you lose 8 months. Welcome back, Mr. Crazy Ban List. I did see the ban list. At least for Modern, nothing happened. Ooh, Copy with Pride does seem pretty sick. Definitely go with Phyrexian Tower. Interesting. Is there a deck Tomio is good in? It's one of my favorite cards. Doesn't seem to have a great spot in the meta. I do think Tomio isn't. It's not in a lot of decks at the moment, but Tomio is still a good card in general, I think. We definitely have a lot of brews on this channel that we still like to play it in. So maybe I should have done this earlier, because since we drew the Cauldron, we care a lot less about our opponent having Consign. I think I'm just going to go ahead and untap. If I draw a land, obviously, we could get really rewarded. What did they pitch? They pitched a Teferi. So I'm going to go ahead and activate this now, so if they have Consign, they can't replicate the Consign on the Solitude Evoke and this ability. Obviously, if they have Ephemerate, we get kind of got either way. Yeah, so you can't consign the Adept ability, but you can consign the trigger when a counter is put on Emperor. Honeymoon was great, Flame Knight. Thank you. Welcome back for the 25. Kazar with the 28. Thank you. I've been doing some Blue-White Flash with Errant and Gadia since they're two new Great Flash cards. Yeah, I'm talking about Aang and then the Owl. I think that the like Spell Queller Aang is okay. I don't know how good it is exactly. Ephemerate means you get to draw at least. I get to draw if they have Ephemerate. Draw and Subtlety. Wait, what do you mean draw? Wait, they are casting Dress Down? So maybe, I guess they didn't have the Consign, or maybe I'm missing something. Okay, don't draw the land for the Cauldron, which would have been obviously perfect. Do I want to trade Frog for Solitude and unearth the Frog? I think I like that, so like top decked Ephemerates don't do anything. Hey Elk, we're thinking of going to Japan soon. Do you have one thing we think you shouldn't miss, and one thing that was skippable? For me, the sorry, I can't. I think it's the Maybe I'll just read it. There was a shrine in Kyoto that was my favorite thing. It's like you like walk up a whole mountain. Yeah, the Fushimi Inari sign. I had it pulled up in case somebody asked what my favorite thing was. Like the Fushimi Inari shrine, you like climb up a whole mountain. It's beautiful. The gates are everywhere. There's like it's just an awesome mountain. And the higher you get, the less people you are. And Esther and I we went on like a back trail on the other side of the mountain, and there was literally no one for like 30 minutes. It was actual 0 people. And we got like really deep in there. Interesting, a Flage. Maybe they're gonna ephemerate the Flage to kill my Emperor. I think I'm gonna go discard Emperor, discard Subtlety here. There's like 0 people for like 30 minutes, and we ended up like getting like a good way down the mountain, and we heard a bunch of like chanting and screaming in the distance, and we decided to either leave whatever ceremony was going on alone or to not get spirited away. And then as far as skippable things, I thought the bamboo forest in Kyoto was really skippable. I also like personally felt like if you are going to Tokyo and you're not like, okay, so it looks like we're gonna get to Cauldron the Emperor unless they have another Solitude. If you're going to Tokyo and you We weren't very interested in like drinking a lot. We weren't very interested in like clubbing or whatever. And if you weren't really interested in like drinking and stuff, then to me it didn't really seem like there was like much reason to um sorry, walking and talking here, to like spend that much time in Tokyo, because it felt like the Meiji Shrine was really cool and there's like a few cool sites and museums to see, but it didn't feel like the city had like that much to like offer outside of like eating a lot and going out and like partying and stuff. Like there's like a lot of redundancy to the city. Like it's really really big, but it's like a lot of the same kinds of places over and over and over again, it felt. Okay, let's win the game here. So like we spent 7 days there, and I feel like I would have been like happy enough spending like 5. But I think if you're like really into food and stuff, spending more time in Tokyo is probably what you want to do. Okay. Maybe they boarded out some of their rag events for game 3. I didn't end up visiting any magic shops. Like we did go to like some places in Akibara that had like some magic cards, but for the most part they like one thing that was really weird or interesting to me is like the card shops in Japan, for the most part, like most of them did not have magic cards, which in America like magic is like the main thing, but they were like mostly games I'd never heard of, and like Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay, let me pull up this list real quick. It's been a little while. Yeah, just Felia, Flage. I guess we just cut the although like Snare can also be good against Prismatic Ending, since most of our stuff is 2 mana. So probably cut 1 Snare, and then we probably want to have 3 push on the draw. And then I do think I still want to keep the Narset, even if it's slower on the draw. I can cut like a Consider, although maybe Consider is better than Scour. I think I like Scour more, but especially on the draw, we're less likely to be hurting for land drops. And then maybe on the draw, the 3rd Force, maybe just trim 1 of each. The 3rd Force could be better, since like getting underneath or getting got by Teferi and Fable is easier. Have you yet evoked Cauldron on Subtlety draw? I think I have done that before, but I don't think I know spelled. Map with 39, thank you so much. Did I learn any Japanese before going? Just like normal phrases. I wish I had learned some more, and I wish I was like at least somewhat conversational. I wanted to, but this like last year has been. It's like when you're, especially when you're planning a wedding and you're doing all this stuff. Not to mention like all of my other projects. It just unfortunately fell by the wayside. But I do think whenever I end up taking the trip to Chile that I want to take, or when I go down to South America, I do want to spend some time to learn some more Spanish. But also I have like much bigger baseline for Spanish. Map out with the 39. Weapon Smasher the 53. Thank you. Welcome back. On the draw for game 3, I think we can keep this with the Consider to dig for 2nd land. I'm a little bit worried about turn 1 Ragavan, where we just don't have the black source for the push. Like, would we have to Subtlety? I think I'm gonna go ahead and keep. They mold the 6. There are a lot of cool niche sub communities in Tokyo. If you have any specific interest, yeah, for sure. just for me, I like by like day 5, I was like, I kind of felt like I wish I'd allocated like day 6 and 7 Tokyo to like more time in like Kyoto, or like another day for like the Kamakura area, another day for Osaka would have been really cool. Yeah, definitely way easier to learn Spanish as an English speaker. My Spanish vocabulary is pretty reasonable. Like when I need to, I can like read Spanish, okay. But my Spanish grammar is awful. I'm gonna get Watery Grave. I think there's like enough of a chance that I draw another like Consider or Thought Scour or maybe Snare, although Snare wouldn't be that relevant right now. Yeah, they will just hold up the. These get pretty rewarded for that. Thank you, Shook Up with the 71, Euripides with the 9 months, and Smash with the 53. It's very cool to come back. I definitely missed streaming a lot. I don't know. It's very lucky when I'm on my trip and I'm missing my day job. Feel very blessed. I do think another Subtlety would probably be pretty good here. And then slamming the Oculus seems like the move. Might need to take some more medicine. I was feeling really good when I woke up this morning. Don't know if I caught something on the flight or if it's just like jet lag. Although I guess I don't know how this could be jet lag. Having both lived in Tokyo and visited as a tourist, I felt like it was a better city for living in. Yeah, that might be the case. For me, I think if I had to pick one of these places to live, I think I would have preferred something like Kyoto. But also like as someone who lives in Texas, where there's just no mountains and like rivers and all the lakes are man-made. I guess there's some rivers, but just like a beautiful place to live is like nature-wise is something that I yearn for, despite like the urban infrastructure that I'm really used to. We could play one Emperor. I think I'm just gonna hold up Subtlety. Might be a little bit too slow though. Thanks, Sacrifice. Misjal Tomb. There's quite a grand river in Texas. Yeah, I mean the Rio at least is like it's very far away from where I live. Do I want to hit another land drop? I think that's okay. I think we can just play this a little bit slowly. Try to get value off of our subtleties. Get in with our bird tokens. I guess if they played Ophelia right now, that could be kind of bad. Yeah, the walking was really nice. Despite like working out almost every single day and like walking every single day, even like in addition to the working out, it's just awesome how much more steps you can get in. Interesting they play Strict Serenade only when it hits Hurkyl Oculus. Scolding is better against the rest of the deck, except Subtlety. Yeah, I don't know if I like this card so much, but it is interesting. Like with an Ophelia deck, it makes more sense because you could just get it's a fairy too. You could get to eat the token more often. Okay, so am I gonna Subtlety the Riddler that's coming? I guess so, because then I can like go Emperor, target Subtlety, hold up the activation maybe. So they don't have Ephemerate in their hand. Another Consign would be not so good. It wouldn't be the end of the world either. I guess Consign plus Solitude would be really bad. Or like Land Bolt. Okay, they do put it on top after some deliberation. Be very surprised if we saw the Ophelia attack. So if I do see a land on top, could be interested in keeping that. To go play like both Emperors or play one Emperor plus hold up activation. Although, yeah, this seems good. Unearth Oculus and hold up Emperor's Subtlety activation. So I guess let's start off by playing the Emperor main phase 1. See what they do. I'm going to target the Subtlety. Let's see if they like bolt the Emperor in response and if they do what we want to do about that. So they do bolt. I guess we just adapt. And then attack for 5 and unearth the Oculus. Been an awesome league so far. Pass back. I've not done a lot of F6ing today. Thanks, Gavin. Feels good to be back. No new cards. The new cards aren't out on Magic Online yet. I know it's a little bit confusing because there's like the Arena Early Access event happening right now. Wait, they have Ephemerate? So they had Ephemerate in their hand last turn. And they didn't do this. They decided to hold up Bolt instead. Interesting. You have a backup day? I have like 4 backup decks. Yeah, I did some brewing on the plane. NASA 34 months. Thank you. Welcome back. I posted 1 or 2 of them besides this one. I didn't brew anything with the Avatar cards though because I didn't realize the early access event would be today, which it hasn't started yet. It's starting soonish. But I don't know if I'm gonna play it or if I'm just gonna do some challenges and wait for Tuesday. Michelle 2 never done. I mean, it seems like I'm just YOLOing, so they're gonna block here. Say they block the Emperor, and then they take 5/7. All right, it's 4-0. Did drop a game. Maybe we'll play this in the challenge. I'm gonna try this on the play. Maybe it just does nothing. I think I like it enough. So a little bit dubious with just how the overall card quality seems like it could be rough. Just completely all in. I do think the Quicksilver Elemental VV stuff is cool. I do think like just in general casting Buried Alive if you're not like winning the game immediately is tough. But I do think you win a lot of times if you go, oh, I guess I still have the 3rd sewer in the deck. You win a lot of times if you go Buried Alive, or like Cauldron into Buried Alive, right? Because you get to go Narcomoeba, Quicksilver, VV, and then you have infinite mana, but then you don't have. As far as I know, like you need like still to have the payoff, right? I guess you could go. I guess that doesn't even work, right? Because you haven't Cauldron the VV and the Quicksilver Elemental. Maybe there's a part of the loop I'm missing. I guess I'm confused why this isn't here over like just another Griselbrand, or why you would want to play that in the first place. Ah, the primer. Maybe I don't want to read the whole primer. We're playing the trophy match. Right, maybe I'll read later. So it is Zoom. Right, maybe we need to find an Oculus here. If my keep was bad. I think I gotta just play the Cauldron. 732 months. We talked about my thoughts on the band announcement. It's weird to see Entomb Band and Legacy. I'm glad they're trying to fix Standard. No changes to Modern is fine, even though I would have preferred a more proactive approach. But the fact that there's going to be more scheduled BNRs for Modern, I think, is a really good change. So you fetch Narcomoeba, Griselbrand, Scourge. Narcomoeba gives free Baldurn. Griselbrand draws 7 next turn. Yeah, this. I guess this is what I keep looking at these decks, and I keep trying to figure out how turn 2 Cauldron, turn 3 Buried Alive is a win, but it just isn't. It just like this deck seems like for the most part you need to go Buried Alive into Necrotic Ooze, or you need to go Cauldron into the Necrotic Ooze. Like it's very Ooze focused. It's not very like Buried Alive plus Cauldron plus Narcomoeba focused, and like it just isn't a playable combo. Like it's just like I think that the combo just seems to be way too slow, unfortunately. All right, so probably going to be going to game 2. I think maybe we could have clicked the mulligan button. I'm out of Surveil lands too, so I can't try to go Surveil, Unearth Emperor, activate Emperor. So yeah, I guess I just keep looking at like the Necrotic Ooze stuff, trying to figure out what I'm missing. But it just to me just seems like the power level is way too low, and like the speed is too low, and the fragility is too low. Like it's slower, more fragile, and like less powerful than other combos. It's cool. It definitely has the cool factor. I think we're gonna sideboard like this. Just 3 considers, extra push, leaving the subtleties, cut the force. I think, yeah, three consigns. Entomb dying for the sins of fire design is sad. I didn't know we were still blaming fire design. I do think in general, I long for like the 2016, 2017, 2018 legacy, 2015 legacy. That was just such a fun time. It's sad to see like such an iconic period or card from legacy in general leave. You know. What if you went all in on Narcomoeba plus Griselbrand plus Stinkweed Imp and hoped? So you get those 3. And then, I mean, I don't know what the rest of your freaking deck looks like. That would be a win. Like 4 Creeping Chills. I don't know. I don't like it's pretty good. Yeah. I again, this is I a lot of my like opinions of like modern are inverted for legacy for some reason, but I just really enjoyed the past, and I think I do think like a lot of the cards that have come to legacy and have soured my opinion on it are cards that are not designed for 1v1 Magic. They're designed for multiplayer Magic, and I think that like the Monarch and the Initiative stuff specifically, like these cards are just designed for multiplayer games. I think these cards are also poorly designed for multiplayer games because in my experience playing Paper Commander, people don't track the Monarch of the Initiative because it's too much. They just forget about it and laugh about forgetting about it. Okay, I like that we have Consign for Scion. I like that we have Cauldron, Griselbrand. I like that we have Scour for Oculus. I don't like that we don't have a second land. I don't like that we don't have a push for Ragavan. I think I'm going to keep it. So you know, and it's sad for me to see like, you know, moving away from, you know, like the legacy is moving away from those kind of cards and moving into, you know, sorry, the card that got banned wasn't one of those kind of cards. It was, you know, an Entomb. But again, I have not played legacy regularly in years. I've not played legacy almost at all. Maybe like once in the last year. So my opinion on the format doesn't matter very much. I'll say that, you know, this is a very, very casual perspective. Well, did not get there. Monarch's been fine on my pods. Initiative's a mess. Monarch is easier because it is a lot more simpler. That is fair. It's just one card. Do you think some of my thoughts on Legacy and Modern are converging? I wouldn't say that, I guess. Like, maybe that's the case, but... gross. Maybe that's the case, but I don't even exactly know what that means, and I couldn't... Nothing, like, immediately comes to mind. I think a lot of people, like, it seems like they want Modern to become, like, this Legacy thing. All right, we're playing for the trophy. Let's see if they're, like, super flooded, but I'm definitely feeling awful about being 4-0 and keeping 2 hands that didn't do a lot, although they both had big upside. It seems like I always see all these comments about like Modern's becoming Legacy, they're becoming so similar, Modern's becoming Legacy, and I really don't feel that way at all. I really don't feel that way at all. I kind of never have, and I almost feel like people want it to be true because at least the amount that people comment on it, it seems like maybe they want it to be true. I've never played any Canadian Highlander. I know I sure can tell the Canadian Highlander fans are having a great time due to the amount of times they talk about it. Thank you, Van. All right. I mean, they're not doing a lot. They probably have a ton of removal spells in the hand, though. All right, so we get to crack our fetch here. At some point, maybe. I guess we could try maybe evoking Subtlety on their next threat, then consigning the Subtlety, but it seems a bit risky against an opponent who like definitely has at least a binding, probably also a bolt. I converted to Canadian Highlander fan. I'm already insufferable. It's okay. I'm glad y'all are having so much fun, but all of the Canadian Highlander fans, they're like Join us. Join us. Alright, so I'm down to 28 cards in my deck. There, Ashiok has 1 loyalty. We have 2 Griselbrands left. I'm gonna cast a Leyline here, maybe. Another Ashiok. Well, I guess this stupid thing is gonna mill me, huh? So let's go for the play, I guess. Do you have any thoughts on breakout starts from Avatar? I think that there's definitely going to be a few solidly good cards. Yeah. I need to spend some time formulating my thoughts. So. I don't know how long that's going to take, but once I've got the PowerPoint up, then okay, they do put it on top. But I'm going to spend some time formulating my thoughts, and hopefully I'll have some good answers for that. All right, so they have the binding. Seems like we're getting milled out. Although, I guess they don't want to minus this Ashiok, because then that unlocks my Strand. Winning this game would be a lot of fun. Yeah, so they don't minus the other Ashiok first. In response to their legend roll. Crack the fetch. Okay, down to 23 cards in our deck. They're just so likely to... Getting just milled out by 2 Ashioks from Domain Zoo is a very funny way to lose for the trophy. Although maybe we lost because we kept a bad hand. I don't know, it seemed okay. It seemed like it had enough upside. Like they could probably sack the Spell Bomb. Have you seen the synergy between Earthbending and Urza Saga? It basically gives Urza Saga regenerate. I guess I don't know the synergy because doesn't Earthbending, animates the land into a creature. How does it give it regenerate? What am I missing there? Does Earthbending also save the land? When it dies, it comes back. Okay, I didn't know the land comes back when it dies. That's so much better. What is this? Oh, sorry, just a flash. Okay. We have 4-1 this league. Not a bad comeback. Obviously, it would have been nice to trophy. Pay out the downers. Okay, Earthbending is way better than I thought. Good to know that pre-video. Open at Rottenmouth Viper, which is actually fun because I think I'm going to go ahead and pivot to one of the backup decks I built. This is Necro Affinity. So this